ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
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 नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वती व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So we are discussing this Kapila section, where previously we have seen the life story of Kardam Muni and Devahuti. So, we have seen how Kardam Muni perfected his life and he took to renunciation. And then, so Devahuti, so her son was Kapila. So this chapter, as we discussed previously, Devahuti approaches Kapila Muni to instruct her on the path of spirituality. So that time Kapila gives his teachings. So his teachings were very this is like second most philosophical discussion in Bhagavatam, which spans around 8 chapters. So what he speaks in summary is presented in this chart. So basically, he speaks about all the paths like Bhakti Yoga and then Yoga, Sankhya, and then which Jnana, which includes that Sankhya Yoga. And he elaborates again on Bhakti Yoga and he describes in order to generate Vairagya, he describes about the characteristic of time and then path of jivas who are undergoing a struggle in this world. This way, he elaborately describes this full knowledge of various things, which we will see. So this is like chapter 8 chapters kind of summary. What are all he speaks that we will see. So like as discussed, when Kardamuni while leaving only, he told to Devahuti that Kapildev will instruct you about transcendental knowledge. You can learn from him. So like that, he instructs previously. So Devahuti, after Kardamuni left, so once he approaches Kapil Muni, and then she requests about please enlighten me about transcendental knowledge. So she actually says that I'm actually disturbed by my material senses. They are all dragging me into ignorance. So I got sick of this material life. You are actually transcendental life, Satchakshu means for persons who are blinded by the materialism. For them, you are like a sun. You have risen like a sun and you can dispel all the darkness, tamas. So, therefore, please dispel my illusion. And when by your mercy, when this illusion is destroyed, I will be able to understand the truth. So, therefore, I am surrendering to you. You are like an axe who can cut this tree of material existence. And I know that you are the perfect person. So therefore you can impart this knowledge. So therefore please instruct me about the jiva, about the Jiva who is situated in this material world and Prakriti. How can we get out like that? She requests Kapil Dev to instruct about spiritual knowledge. So in response to that, Kapil Dev starts. So he was like smiling because like uh, he was like he knows that your mother, she is the mother of the Supreme Lord. So she cannot be in Maya, but currently she is situated in that way so that the world can benefit. So now I will speak about this knowledge. So he says that I will speak about Adhyatmika Yoga. So by that yoga, it will be benefit for everyone, and by that the material happiness and material distress, they will be uprooted. So you will be situated in transcendental plane. So, and I will tell that yoga, which has several parts and it can be easily performed. And previously, I have explained this to other sages like Narad Muni and others. So, generally, for yoga, the main obstacle is the mind. For any kind of yoga, what the mind is the pivot. Pivot means it is like the like it's the key element. Whatever yoga wants to take, that mind which is attached to matter, that will create bondage. But if the same mind, if it is attracted to the Lord, that will create liberation. So that rati, so rati is generally attachment. So attachment is generally like there are like two parts, like one is like jnana and bhakti. So but generally maybe for jnanas, the uh, rati, the like main stress is on detachment, but there is no stress on rati. But in bhakti, it's like transferring that rati from matter to the Supreme Lord. So that's how the bhakti process is little different from jnana or yoga or other process, where in other processes mainly the aspect of detachment is mainly emphasized. But in bhakti, like if the attachment from matter to Supreme Lord, when it is transferred, that will lead to liberation. So, and he says that when that mind is completely freed from all the material attachments, like thinking I am this body and like aham mamata, all these things, and it is without any grief, and it is completely freed from ignorance, then it will be freed from the from all the ignorance through that mind. uh, when that mind practices jnana, vairagya and bhakti, mainly bhakti, that kind of mind can deliver one person. So that mind is the one which will free, like which is like that mind which is beyond all these beyond all the negative qualities like lust and greed, happiness and distress. So those are all the that mind which is free from all these things, with that mind which is endowed with jnana, vairagya and mainly bhakti. So that kind of mind is the symptom of a liberated person or liberated mind. Through that mind, when he is situated in that way, he will be able to absorb the atma, soul. So and so in this way, the mind is like the pivot, and when it is transcended the material situation, then he will be able to understand the self. So but how does it happen? It happens by mainly by the process of bhakti, and which is endowed with jnana and vairagya. Through that it will happen. So then he says that that any kind of yoga, in order to attain perfection, there is to be there like the bhakti is the through bhakti only any process the results will come. and this is the most auspicious path. He says that uh, for developing relationship with with the Lord, the, the that is the most auspicious path, and other than that auspicious path, there is no other path to establish that realization with the Lord, that relationship. So bhakti is the most easy process to establish that yoga, perfection in yoga. But how to get that bhakti? So Kapil Dev, when he starting his teachings, initially he established that mind is the pivot, and that mind, like when it is transferred from matter to transcendence, then that is like a liberated mind, and it happens by mainly by bhakti with jnana and vairagya elements. And the main process by which it can be freed is the bhakti process. Without bhakti, other process also will not give result. There should be some element of bhakti in everywhere. So perfection in yoga is not possible without bhakti. So he glorifies the path of bhakti in the initial starting phase only. And this is the most easiest process and most sublime process also. So therefore he is first glorifying the bhakti. So how to get that bhakti? So for bhakti, the main way one can attain bhakti is through association of sadhus. So therefore, this is the most famous shloka. Prasangam ajuram pasham atmana kavayo vidu. Sayeva sadhu shukruto moksha dwaram apavritam. If one is like attached to material things, that is like bad association, that will create so much bondage for the soul. But the same attachment, saeva sadhusu kruto, if we transfer our same attachment to the sadhus, association of devotees, then that will moksha dwaram apavritam, it will open the door for liberation. So association is the key, and by association, like basically where we put our attachment, that determines our destination, kind of. So this bad association is a bondage, but association of devotees opens for the uh, door to liberation. So, but uh, how how to like how to recognize the sadhus, like okay, by associating sadhus one get liberation. So what are the characteristics and activities of sadhu? So please, how to recognize? For that he says, this is the most like Kapil Dev's this section is very famous shlokas are there, and there is one book of Srila Prabhupada also, Teachings of Lord Kapila, which is especially printed based on this chapter. So each shloka is like one chapter kind of thing. And so because describes the glory of bhakti. Basically, in I think Prabhupada conversations or morning walks, he has discussed this chapter, and that they published in a book, kind of Teachings of Kapila, the son of Devahuti, like that one book title is there. So there all these verses are also discussed. So how to identify a sadhu? What are the characteristics and activities? The first, the characteristics is that secondary characteristics are mentioned. That means the like when like secondary characteristics means these are the secondary symptoms which we can observe. Titikshava karunika suhurda sarvadehina ajata shatra vashanta sadhava sadhu bhushana. Titikshava karunika. Titikshava means they are very tolerant, and karunika, merciful. Suhruda sarvadehina, friendly to all beings. Ajata shatrava, they are without any enemies. Shanta, very gentle. Sadhu, Sadhava, Sadhubhushana. These are the different, like the Sadhubhushana means these are the different qualities which decorates the sadhus. So that means he is like when a devotee, when he is practicing, when a sadhu, when he is developing all these good qualities, then he is the kind of elevated. So these are said to be secondary characteristics. That means these will develop once one start practicing bhakti. But what is the primary characteristic of a sadhu? So primary characteristic that is mentioned as next shloka. Mai ananyena bhavena bhaktim kurvanti ye drudham matkrute tyakta karmanas tyaktva svajana bandava. So the premise basically he is fully surrendered to the Lord. That is the primary characteristic. When he is fully surrendered, in due course of time, he will develop all these good qualities which are mentioned in the previous sloka. So therefore, to identify a sadhu, like main characteristic that needs to be seen is his full surrender kind of thing. Mai ananyena bhavena bhaktim kurvanti edudam. With full druda bhakti, he without any deviation, he is performing bhakti to me. Mai ananyena bhavena. With feelings. Kurvanti drudham. Matkrute tyakta karmana. For my sake, he gives up all other activities, tyakta karmana, and tyakta svajana bandhava. He gives up all other considerations and relatives and everything. So basically, he is completely dependent upon the Lord. He is not dependent upon any other person, any other relative, or any other this thing. And he is completely taking shelter of the Lord and performing bhakti. These are like this is like complete, as Krishna said, Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Moksha Ishyami Mashacha. Like you completely depend upon me. You like that. So this is kind of considered as primary characteristic. If a person sincerely does this, then he will gradually and definitely develop all these qualities. Titikshava, Karunika, Subrada, Sarvadehina. So therefore, through these like combined activities, these characteristics, one can identify a sadhu, and by that association, it will opens the door for liberation. So in this way, he is saying the in this association. So what will happen in that association? How these sadhus they engage their life. So they madashraya kadamrushta. They often madashraya. They take shelter of me, and they completely recite and listen to pure stories of me. Kada mrushta shrunvanti kadayanti cha. They speak and they listen, and they in this way, because their minds are fully absorbed in me, they don't experience any material miseries. So they are not afflicted by miseries because they are fully under the their minds are completely under the shelter of the Lord. So in this way, in the association of the sadhus, this Krishna Kada will happen. That is the main symptom. So therefore, uh, you should desire their association. They don't have any aspiration to achieve even the four Purusharthas, Artha, Dharma, Karma, and Moksha. So Sarva Sangha Vivajita means they don't have aspiration to achieve these things. Their only goal is to achieve prema for the Lord, love for the Lord. So their association is required. One should seek the association of those kind of sadhus. By that association, they will destroy all the faults of material association. So basically, the path of bhakti is like getting association with the sadhus who are like completely detached, and sadhus who are completely attached to the Lord. So one should seek that attachment. By that, what will happen? So what is the result of that association? This is also very, very famous shloka, often quoted shloka. Satam prasangan mama virya samvida bhavanti hritkanna rasayana katha tajjoshanaadashu apavarga bhatmani shraddha ratir bhaktir anukramishati. Satam prasangan mama virya samvido. In that association, in the saintly association, uh, mama virya samvido, they always discuss about my great qualities. And bhavanti hritkanna rasayana kada. In their association, my great qualities, my topics, they will become hrutkarna rasayana. It will be very, very pleasing to heart and ears. Rasayana, it means it's like it produces a lot of rasa in that association. So, uh, that and in that association, tajjoshanadashu apavargavatmani. So by that association, tajjoshanad, then by taste for those topics, slowly Shraddha Ratir Bhaktir Anukramishyati. So Anukramishyati means step by step. Step by step, one will develop Shraddha Rati Bhakti. So here Shraddha means uh, asakti, like in the stages of bhakti, as one progresses, one will attain different stages. So this Shraddha is like asakti stage, which is like Ado Shraddha, Tata Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, and Anadda Nivritti, Nishta, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhava, Prema. These are the 9 stages which are mentioned by Rupa Goswami. First is like Ado Shraddha, little faith is there. Tata Sadhu Sangha, then with that little faith, maybe there may be some little association of the sadhus. By that, Bhajana Kriya, one will start worshipping the Lord. Bhajana Kriya will start. So while doing Bhajana Kriya, Anadda Nivritti Syat. So Anadda Nivritti slowly starts happening. So once many Anaddas are removed, so that time one will be situated in Nishta. Nishta means study devotional practice. And then when one steadily progresses in that devotional service, then the stage where Ruchi one develops. That means one will gain taste for the devotional process. And then when it further increases, that is the stage of asakti, where one is completely attached to the Lord. So that Shraddha here means that asakti, where is completely attached to the Lord. When that fully progresses, it will develop into bhava stage. So rati here implies that bhava stage, where one will develop attachment. And then that bhava is like a small bud ripening of prema. It's like bhava is like a bud, and when it fully ripened into a flower or fruit, that is called prema. So that is like bhakti. So Shraddha Ratir Bhaktir Anukramishati. So basically, in the association of saintly devotees, when we hear again and again the glories of the Lord, which will Brutkarna Rasayana, which will like very tasty, which will become nectar to the heart and ears at the stage of Ruchi. Like basically, when one starts seeing, all these things will happen. So basically, uh, this will bring him initially to the stage of Nishta, where all other anaddas will go away. One will steadily situate in bhakti. And that when we steadily practices, the stories of the Lord, that katha will become very dear to the heart and ears. So that is the stage of ruchi. And then the slowly when he practices Shraddha Ratir Bhakti, Asakti, Bhava, Prema will slowly develop. So these are like kind of a sequence for everything, uh, for every uh, for in a devotional service, even in the initial stages, in order to start practicing bhakti, one requires sadhu sangha, and even in the middle stages where one progresses, there also sadhu sangha is required, and even to attain higher stages like asakti bhava, prema. For that also sadhu sangha is required. So everywhere that sadhu sangha, and especially hearing Krishna Kada in the association of sadhus. So that one is always required. So that is the main essence of bhakti, hearing Krishna Kada in the association of sadhus, in the association of devotees. So this is the path of bhakti that he explains. In this way, by association with the saintly persons, one will progress in bhakti. So then he also says that uh, then there for the like for there is also yoga process and jnana process, by which yoga and jnana process, where one will in yoga one will start practicing in thinking about the Lord, and that process also involves the element of bhakti. So in this way, the yogis also endeavor to achieve perfection, and jnanis also by understanding the matter, what is spirit, and by performing little bit bhakti with that mixed jnana mishra bhakti, which jnana with mixing of bhakti, they will also progress. In this way, these bhakti, jnana, and yoga, these are the different processes which will by which one will be able to cut off the bondage to the material world. So like that, he mentions about three processes in which bhakti he elaborated, and yoga and jnana he briefly touched. So hearing that, Devahuti, she asks, please explain bhakti, like by what kind of bhakti I can perform so that I can easily attain you. And please explain, you have mentioned about jnana and yoga. Please explain about their paths also. What is jnana and what is yoga? So please let me know. So it's like uh, as you have mentioned that bhakti suitable for the Lord, that one should perform bhakti so that we will attain you. But one should a person should know, an inquisitive person will know that I will anyway perform bhakti which you are teaching. But an inquisitive person, intelligent person, he will know the other ideas as well. So I want to know about yoga and jnana also, so that I want to understand what is their process. So please tell about them also. So in this way, she asks about bhakti, jnana, and yoga. So in which bhakti again he elaborates in this chapter. Jnana he elaborates in two chapters, in the coming two chapters. Yoga he elaborates in one chapter. So in this way, next three chapters are answers to these questions. So now, because she asked about what like we need to perform bhakti, so Kapildev again starts explaining about bhakti process. So uh, he started explaining bhakti. So in that he kind of gives he mentions that what kind of bhakti I should perform so that I can easily attain you. So he kind of gives one kind of bhakti by performing which one can easily attain. So that is like bhakti, which is a pure devotional service. Pure devotional service is the process by which, in which there is no other goal other than bhakti. That means one performs bhakti to attain the Lord only. One performs bhakti to please the Lord only, not to attain any other material goals. And that bhakti is ahituki and apratihata. That means it doesn't have any reason ahituki. And also it is like apratihata. It is continuously kind of they perform. So for that he gives this definition, Devanam Gunalingana, where basically this says that bhakti without any other goal and bhakti without any with continuous bhakti, without obstacle from karma and jnana. So that kind of bhakti will easily is that kind of bhakti is superior to even liberation. So it is bhakti siddher gariyasi. That means that kind of bhakti is greater than even liberation. Siddher gariyasi means it is gariyasi means higher. It is higher than even liberation. So uh, basically the bhakti without any, which bhakti means basically the process is that to accept the Lord and to serve the Lord with one's mind and uh, words, mind, body, and words, ekamanasa, with one mind, and without obstacle from jnana or karma process, ekamanasa, and any other desires are also not there. So all the senses are completely engaged in the service of the Lord to please the Lord. So that is how the definition of pure bhakti. And this pure bhakti, it can be two types. It is also divided into two. That is like Vaidhi bhakti and like Vaidhi bhakti and Raga bhakti. So that like Vaidhi bhakti means that based on the like Vaidhi bhakti, the Raganu bhakti, both are like sadhana bhaktis, but it can also like after it becomes perfection, that Vaidhi bhakti will become sadhya bhakti, that is like bhava bhakti. Means it is like one example is given. When a mango, when it is in the tree, mango fruit has come. When initially it came, it is unripened. So that is like one can say sadhana bhakti. But if the mango is there on the tree, residing in the same place, slowly it becomes ripened. That is like bhava bhakti. So it is like both are like it's non-different. Both are like not. It is like non-different, but it is like a unripened mango and ripened mango. In that sense, we can say. So this is the characteristic of Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti and Sadhya Bhakti. So, and this Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti is also two types. That is, sorry, the Sadhana Bhakti is also two types. Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti. So Vaidhi is like based on scriptures and fully following rules and regulations. The basically uh, the motivation to perform bhakti comes mainly from scripture, that is Vaidhi. Ragavanuga, he also follows all the scriptural rules, but the main motivation for practicing bhakti comes from the inspiration of the association of the devotees who are practicing ragatmika bhakti, like who are like completely attached to the Lord. When they are following them, then that is called as Raganuga. They are also sadhaka bhaktas, and but Raganuga will be after Nishta stage. One can, if one gets that kind, then they can practice. But they also follow all the rules and regulations. So these are the like different uh, variations are there. So, but all these are like two different kinds of processes, but both have the same characteristics. One is ahetuki and other is apratihata. Ahetuki means without any other goals or without any other desires. Apratihata means it is like they don't like they perform bhakti. They don't that bhakti process is not obstructed by karma or jnana. So in that sense, it is like apratihata continues without any obstacle kind of. So with that kind of bhakti, one will practice. And jarayati asu yakosham nigirnam analayata. So that means the like it is jarayati means digestive. So by that process of bhakti, the subtle body is dissolved. That means liberation is unsought in the bhakti, but automatically attain. So that means for bhaktas, the main goal is not liberation, but it is like a side product. So, like for cooking, fire, if you use, the main product is the the product that we are cooking, like milk we are boiling. So, boiled milk is the main product. But the side product, some ash may be produced as a side product, but that is side. It's not the main intention goal. Similarly, for bhakti, the main intention goal is to achieve the love of the Lord. But as a side result, liberation will also come. So, and that happens automatically. So, one analogy is used, just like in stomach, the food that we eat is digested by our stomach. Uh, the similarly, by practicing bhakti in our stomach, the amazing amazing thing of our stomach digestion is that it utilizes all the good qualities of food that we eat and converts it then into energy. And whatever bad portion is there in whatever we eat, that it sends as a mala. It sends as a out under like some like waste food, waste matter. So similarly, bhakti, whatever good things that are there, it will take and and the it's like whatever bad things it is there, it will destroy them. And good things like bhakti, those are all retained. So in this way, it is like with that kind of special that bhakti, it will quickly destroy the subtle body, and liberation is automatically attained without any separate endeavor. So in this way, this process of pure devotional service is mentioned. Now, there is also he has given the the characteristics of a devotee who has attained bhava. Like by this process of bhakti, when he attains bhava stage, he will develop certain characteristics. So those characteristics he has kind of given. So those are mentioned as like they the main quality like they have is that they always engage in service to my lotus feet. Kapil is saying that they are completely engaged in my they are attached to serving my lotus feet and following all the scriptural rules, and they only want to taste my beauty, and they come together and relish my pastimes among themselves, and they don't have any desire to merge with the Brahman. Naikatmatam me spruhayanti kechin. So that means they don't have any inclination to merge into the Lord, but their main inclination is to serve the Lord. So this is the main characteristics of the person. And they come together and discuss with each other about the glories of the Lord, and they see my attractive faces, and in different places the Lord manifest in different forms. So and are different incarnations, forms, descriptions are there. So they, and when they achieve bhava stage, they will be able to see the different forms of the Lord also in their hearts. Sometimes the spurti will come. So pashyanti teme ruchirani ambasanta prasanna vaktraruna lochanani. My pleasing faces, my pleasing eyes, and all those things they will be able to see, which are this thing. And they speak with me very pleasant words. That and these all these forms bestow several wonderful benedictions. They they perceive them and they speak with me, and they speak very polite words like saying that, "Oh Lord, I am only interested in serving you. I don't want liberation." So like that, very pleasingly they talk to me, and then like in this way, the devotees who are like completely their minds attached to my form, and they which my form which contains pleasing words, glances, smiles, and pastimes. So for them, I even though they don't want liberation, I easily give them liberation, and still they don't accept it. They only want to perform devotional service. So they attain my abode, or I will engage them in my bhakti, because that is their main desire. So in this way, for them it is very easy, uh, to achieve anything. So, but they don't desire any happiness in the any universes in this material world which have so many powers, or they don't want any yoga siddhis, or or they don't even want Vaikuntha also. Their only desire is to serve me. So, but for them, I easily award my abode. So they will easily attain my planet. In this way, I bring them. And he also mentions about one characteristic of a raga, like person who has attained bhava with the raganuga type, where he says that they like. I act like a Sakha, Guru, Sukhrudo, Daivamishtam. So for them, for some of these people, I act like a lover. I'm a lover, or I'm a son. Some of them treat me like a son, so I will become their son, Sutta. Some of them treat me like a friend, so some of them treat me like elder, Guru, or companion, worshipable deity. So that means Kapil Dev in this section he is mentioning about Raganuga Bhakti also, where certain kind of relationship they will establish, and in that relationship they will treat the Lord. So these people they treat me in one particular relationship and they establish. So in this way they will always thinking about me. So in this way, they come to me. So in this way, they perform their bhakti. After mentioning that, he also gives certain qualities of a Vaidhi sadhana bhakti. How Vaidhi sadhana bhaktas were exclusively where we are all practicing sadhana bhaktas. How they practice. So their main practice is that they give up all bodily identification. That means all the enjoyments, bodily identification giving up means enjoyments that in this life and next life, and all other association, all other material association they don't have, and they don't have attachment to wealth, animals, house, and their only goal is exclusively dedicated to worship me, and in this way they practice the bhakti. So I take them personally to the beyond the ocean of birth and death. In this way they will cross over. This is the process for the Vaidhi sadhana bhakti. And so except for that bhakti, except for that bhakti, uh, who to me are my avatars. So except that for whoever perform that devotion, they will be free from fear. But for all others, there is complete fear in this material world. Intense fear in the material world cannot be stopped. Fear of material world can only be overcome by devotion to my forms. Otherwise, if there is no devotion, there is always fear for everyone in this material world. So this is like main quality of the material world. Fear or anxiety or this thing is there. Vaikunta, kunta. So if there is no other means to deliverance from this fear or anxiety other than bhakti to my forms. And so therefore, actually out of fear of me only, anything in this world are working. So one need not work you are mentioning that Kapil Dev especially mentions that one should perform bhakti to me. So what will happen if you do we not need but worship any other devatas? So for them, he says that actually for fear of my only, in fear of me only, all other devatas, they work. So all devatas in this world, they work only by fearing. Mad bhayat vati vatoyam. The wind blows in this world out of my fear. Surya stapati mad bhayat. Out of my fear only, the sun god shines. Varshati Indra, out of fear of me, Indra pours rain. If and Dahati Agnir, fire burns out of fear of me. Mrityus charati madbhayat. Only because of me, death even flees from me because of fear. So in this way, like all these devatas, if they harass my devotees, I don't even hesitate to remove them from their positions. So because of my fear only, they are all working. So in this way, he says that even all the devatas are working out of fear of me. So therefore, there is no need of worshipping all others. One can easily take shelter of me. And so even not only devatas, but all the yogis and jnanis, everyone it seeks my shelter, even them to achieve highest benefit. So so in this way, in this world, when the mind which is offered to me in pure bhakti and with steadiness, that actually create highest benefit in this world. So highest benefit in this world will come only through by practice of Tivra Bhakti, by which is bhakti, which is like without any cheating, without any divide of karma or jnana, which is pure. By that only one will achieve. In that way, greatest benefit will come. So in this way, he concludes this chapter. So basically, this chapter basically dealt with Devahuti approaching Kapilidev to enlighten about knowledge. And Kapilidev mentions that for any kind of perfection, mind is the pivot, which when that mind is attached to matter, it is bondage. When it is attached to the Lord or transcendence, it gives liberation. And so that liberated mind is beyond the contamination of material things, and that will mainly happen through bhakti. And the easy way to achieve that state is by practicing bhakti, and that bhakti can be practiced by association of devotees. Therefore, he gives the characteristics and activities of sadhu, how they are completely depending upon the Lord. So, in that association, when one hears, one will slowly progress in the devotional service through the stages of Nishta, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhava, and Prema, and slowly achieve in that this thing. And others also practice Jnana and Yoga with the element of Bhakti to achieve perfection. So, then she asks about, explain about Bhakti, Jnana, and Yoga. So then he gives the definition of pure devotional service, which is like ahetuki and apratyata, without any other goals, without obstacles from karma and jnana. And that by that pure bhakti, one is easily achieve liberation without any separate endeavor. And the characteristics of devotee in Bhav Bhakti he has given, which is like they don't desire liberation, they only want to serve the Lord. They don't even they lovingly speak and speak about me. And the persons who are this, they have certain kind of relationship with me. And sadhaka bhaktas, they completely depend upon me and practice bhakti. And one need not worship other persons because all others are working only in out of fear of me, and fear of this material world will only go by bhakti. Otherwise, there is always anxiety or fear in this world. So even yogis also take my shelter. So therefore, all the greatest benefit will achieved by practicing this Tevra Bhakti. So in this way, bhakti process he explained. Now Devahuti also asked about jnana and yoga process. So jnana process he starts explaining in this chapter, in 26th chapter and 27th chapter, which maybe we will see later after some time. And then yoga he answers in 28th chapter. So process of jnana, which describes the characteristics of Prakriti, Purusha, elements, and Virat Rupa, Karya Srishti, all these are described. And the analysis of Jiva, Prakriti, and the Supreme Lord. And by that analysis, how to achieve liberation. So that is the process of jnana he explains. So maybe let's stop here. Yeah.
थैंक यू प्रभु, थैंक यू सो मच। आप भी ओपन स्काई से बोल रहे हैं क्या या रूम से बोल रहे हैं? ऐसा
रूम में
लग रहा है कि स्काई के अंडर में आप बैठे हैं ऐसा। थैंक यू प्रभु।
ब्लू पेंटिंग है।
हरे कृष्ण।
The light is looking like that. So good. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Next week now we have that Maharaj Vyas Puja, so I will not be able to take.
Yeah, on 8th, 7th, 7th.
Maharaj birthday is on 7th. That is like
Hmm.
English calendar.
Mhm.
Tithi, I don't know exactly where is running the Tithi, but 10th we are celebrating here in Govardhan Eco Village, Vyas Puja.
Mhm.
So people are coming here and going in the night. So
Mhm.
and Maharaj is here. So
Mhm.
that is
Okay, Prabhu.
continue after next week.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.